Shiva ma'am is with us at Menon classes. She is an engineer. She is an engineer and currently also working for a software firm as a quality tester. As a quality tester, a very sincere person, right? And I would like to say that in this pandemic times, these are the people who have really adjusted themselves to the new normal. Currently, apart from being a quality tester, she's currently working out of Mumbai. But as I said, Mumbai, it's redundant to say Mumbai, right? It's all online. And when I spoke to Ms. Shiba about this topic, she said that she would like to introduce a speaker because she said it's so very relevant in today's times that everybody should be aware of this topic. Shiba Bete, over to you. I would request you to please introduce Nirali ji.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Nirali Bhatia is a cyber psychologist, internet addiction therapist, and a psychotherapist with over a decade's experience in counseling for anxiety, depression, relationship issues, behavioral issues, and counseling cybercrime victims. She's a TEDx speaker and she has been quoted in various articles in leading newspapers and regular. She appears on several news channels as well. She is also the director of V4 Web Cybersecurity and founder of Anti-Cyber Bullying Organization, which is cyberbullying awareness, action, and prevention.
Thank you. Thank you, Shiva, for the introduction. And good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Anil sir, for inviting me. This is one topic which I am extremely passionate about, and I have been working for almost a decade or more in terms of not only in, uh, the professional work as in behavioral analysis or net profiling, but also in spreading awareness, because awareness at this moment is the only way of prevention. And that's what this whole mission is about. And I readily accepted that, yes, if it's about children and their safety, I'm in for it. So thank you so much. I have a small presentation that I want to share. Uh, I would try to finish it in the shortest possible time so that we have time for questions. But I'll request everyone to take this opportunity to not shy away, but to very, very directly ask whatever that comes to your mind, because internet today is integral part of our lives. We wake up to a device and we sleep to a, sleep browsing that device, and age across, gender across, globally it's the same phenomena. So while we have all got access to such a huge world of a very new world outside, but we haven't got enough time, enough training to understand what's in store, what are the dangers over here, what are the safety measures we need to take care of, what kind of hygiene should be following over here to ensure not only are we safe, but we have a very, very meaningful presence as well on internet. And as mentioned, that today's topic is about cyber safety and cyber hygiene. Now the question is, why do we need to talk about cyber safety? As I mentioned earlier, that yes, it's like we've got a new car. We still haven't had any mechanisms to really apply for a license. It's free, everyone can use it, but nobody has really gone through the manual of what lies ahead, what we need to do, and all. Primarily, there are three factors which make it much more significant for each one of us to understand and to put in that extra little time to emphasize on cyber safety and talk about it. The most pertinent reason why we need to understand the cyber safety and the hygiene rules is because of cyber crimes, which have increased magnifold during this lockdown period in particular. This anti-cyberbullying organization that I run, I have alone got more than 2,500 complaints of bullying during these 5-6 months of lockdown. I've launched the portal last year while we were a Facebook page since 2016. where we wanted to bridge that gap, that we never wanted any victim ever to feel there is no hope. And it's not the simple a discomfort on internet, but there are multiple types of cybercrimes which we will see as we go ahead. Besides cybercrimes, if not necessary that it's only the crimes that is the major concern, but it is also the behavioral issues and the addictive, you know the way this entire cyberspace is designed, which is leading to a lot of addictive behavior in the youth today. I am stressing more on youth because the what we believe is a stitch in time, that is at a younger age. If we stitch that kind of a problem, it has a huge impact in the life way forward. So these are the three important areas which I would be talking about during these next few minutes. And let's begin with cybercrimes. So, what I have quoted is most of the cases that have come to me, and you must have read a lot more in the papers as well. If you have not, it's time you begin to read those things. As I mentioned, awareness is the only way of prevention at this moment till we have far more stricter rules, far more vigilant, and and a lot of stringent policies to manage the usage in cyberspace. Till then, your safety is your responsibility, and that's where you got to be totally aware. So these are some of the cases that have come to us. Of course, we've refrained from sharing names and cities and stuff, but on our portal we have a section where you can report if you have been victimized. But if you read up these cases that I have put up, in these last 5 6 months, we've seen that three types of cases are on very high rise in terms of cybercrime, where younger children or the youth is targeted much more than an older person. So the first one is sextortion, which is the case that I have put up over here, which is very specifically targeted towards young boys. And the modus operandi is very simple. They create a profile of a girl with a good DP picture, the display picture, and they send a friend request to boys either on social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, or on the dating sites such as Hinge, or Hinge, whatever you call it, or Tinder, etc., etc. There are multiple such, and yes, they start befriending them. They start talking, and the girl, well, you believe it's a girl on the other end, she starts talking, or rather sexting, and insists that get on to a video call. The moment you get on to a video call, you see a girl who is trying to seduce you, who is trying already in an act of self pleasure and directing you also towards it. And that's when they record the video and they start extorting you, either for money or for more sexual videos. So that's a lot in rise. On an average, on a daily basis, we are getting 5 to 6 such cases. So we can understand how many more are being victimized on this, and how many are able to reach certain organizations for help. It's a very it also creates a very, very shameful and a guilt kind of a face for the victim, for them to open up and talk, where if you have the courage to say, look, even I did this in front of screen, and that's when I'm in trouble. So that's extortion is one on rise. The second one is harassing via fake accounts and fake IDs. So that's targeted towards girls a little more compared to the boys. And Instagram is one such hub where we have seen a lot of fake accounts being created, because creating accounts is extremely simple. It does not take more than a minute to create an account. There are no ways to actually validate whether the account belongs to a genuine person or not. And then through that fake accounts, sending harassing messages, sending sexual messages, not only to the victim but to the close friends of victims also, in terms of tarnishing their image and also emotionally abusing them. So that's another one which is on high rise. And the third one which is on a big rise is online grooming, which is targeted very specifically towards children around age of 9 to 16 or 17. Grooming is where the perpetrator, he actually wins your trust, makes you believe that he or she is in love with you, develops a relationship, at the same time isolating you from your real family, from your physical family. Every time they insist that, you know, this is our little secret, and you know how pretty you are or how beautiful you are. A very recent case of grooming that I'm working on with the victim is where, you know, she's in class 10, and she was made to believe that I am in love with you. She knew the guy is 31 years old, she is barely 15, but this is love. It, you know, that's what these perpetrators bank upon. He has been so good to her that it was impossible for her to realize that this was anything but love. He would take up his studies online, her studies online. She was not very good at math, and he actually helped her improvise, where her scores also improved. But at the same time, he kept on telling her that, you know, don't tell about this to anyone. And eventually he won her trust to lead her to stripping in front of the camera, where she did, trusting the guy, and he recorded the whole thing and he started extorting. Before it reached the extortion stage, the girl's family came to know and they reached out to us. So it took us a lot of time to make her realize that she was victimized. She kept on believing that no, you know, the guy is so real, and he had given a lot of information. They ask you for your social media accounts, username and passwords. So there are a lot of such things that they do in return of either they will extort you more for more sexual videos, or certain cases of grooming we have seen which have also extended to the physical world, where the girls or young children have been trafficked as well. So the point is not to scare you. It's not like it's happening to every other child. No, but at the same time it's to make you aware that this is what happens on internet. When we say in the real world that do not talk to strangers, it totally applies over here as also. A lot of youth comes to me and says that, but ma'am, this is a new way to make friends and all. I'm like, you make friends, but don't you validate before you share anything that is personal or sensitive? So is there a way to validate over here? If not, refrain. We've also seen a rise in youth themselves sharing their personal intimate pictures, not only from the point of sharing with other person, they are also clicking and storing it on their device, which has also led to crimes where, you know, just 2 weeks back we had a case where this one young girl, she sold off her phone. She had formatted, she had factory reset her phone and sold it. Yet they were able to recover some of the pictures, which then they started extorting. So these are cases that are happening. And of course then a typical abuse, online fights, trolling, bullying, these are very very rampant. Language is not being monitored, and not only is it in terms of harassing another person, but it is also becoming a regular dialect. The way people are communicating online is becoming totally impolite, and not realizing that this is also impacting your digital footprints. We've also seen rise in people giving threats that I am going to kind of forge your video and make it a nude picture, and I'm going to share it with your friends and family. You know, there are apps like nudifiers available for free. All they do is that if you have a full length picture, or if you have a close up picture with even half a body, it can immediately remove the clothes off your body. So these are these are the things that are actually happening. We love to believe that it will not happen to me ever again. But trust me, friends, I myself, being in the field, cannot assure you that it's not going to happen to me ever. The only way I can manage this is when I am aware, I am more prepared to handle this. I am more cautious that what kind of pictures should I be sharing, what kind of posts should I be sharing, and overall, how much time should I be investing into all this kind of entertainment or a trivial entertainment. Now, online gaming is another such place where a lot of bullying and harassment is happening. Very recently, after the PUBG ban, Discord is one place which I believe a lot of young children over here would be aware of. And for those who do not know, it's a platform where you can share about games. There are gaming videos, there are gaming chat rooms. Again, the issue over here is also no validations. We don't know, though the age group to join this is 13 and above, there is no validation. I have a young child, see, one is 11, and then I also have a 9-year-old writing to me that he's been abused on Discord. So the point over here is that let's understand that, teen is an age where it's the formative years of anyone's life. Your entire character, your belief systems, everything is shaped up during this period. Now if you are going to be exposed to this kind of environment, you can understand that what kind of value system would you be going ahead in your life with, what kind of experiences you're going ahead in your life with. And that's where the sensitivity is much more to be considered. That yes, why are we emphasizing on stringent time limits for screen time? It's only and only for children's benefit that yes, during these years, if you do not have a very solid foundation, a very happy and a secure upbringing and an environment, you are going to have a lot of psychological and emotional issues in your life way forward. In our field of psychology, we've seen that maximum issues are related to your uh, your upbringing and your growing up days. So make sure that yes, we are ensuring that what kind of background are we coming from, because that is going to lead to our future, and it's also going to lead to our mindset as we move forward. All those cases that you saw, they could be all summarized into these kind of cyber crimes, that is hacking, abuse and harassment, grooming, as I mentioned, extortion, romance scams, financial frauds. Oh yes, we've also seen children indulge or becoming victims of financial frauds where they are using either their parents' credit cards or their Paytm wallets to buy something online without being smart enough to understand what is genuine and what is not genuine. So yes, financial frauds, and worst is the trafficking. All of this, when the victim is under age of 18, falls in the purview of cyberbullying. So the definition of cyberbullying is if you use technology to harass, threaten, or embarrass any other person who is below age of 18, it becomes cyberbullying. And if it is above 18, it could be under different categories such as stalking, trolling, etc. So for any one of you, so it's a very common question asked, that even if I am simply teasing my friends online, does it become cyberbullying? Always remember this definition, that if it is to harass someone, to threaten, or even to embarrass, so your tease and embarrassment has a very thin line, and be very very aware of that yes, where is it crossing that particular line. Now, there are different ways of cyberbullying for us to understand that yes, some are direct ways and some are indirect ways. Sending the hurtful messages, hacking emails and websites, which we have seen very common in younger children, where they feel that wow, I am some technology geek if I have been able to hack and make some fun with it. sending disturbing pictures, stealing passwords, creating fake accounts, and sending spywares. A lot of this is done by children just as entertainment or time pass. Now, please understand that these are no longer the ways to pass your time, or this is no longer a way of entertaining yourself. It can become a serious issue and it can fall into the purview of cyberbullying, which is an offense. There are some indirect ways, such as if you tag somebody in obscene post, which could eventually lead to embarrassment, spreading rumors on internet or on your mobile, I mean, on your friends groups, etc., morphing pictures. This is one very trending thing, that yes, children morph each other's pictures and create memes. It's not only children, even adults are doing this, but yes, uh, it's also on a high rise without them realizing that that little fun what they want to achieve, when it goes in cyberspace, it can become a big issue and an offense. And stalking, this has been rampant age across because of the belief that little anonymity that internet gives us. A lot of us take the liberty to go and stalk without realizing that one complaint and you're done. You are going to have to bear with the consequences. Now, the tricky part with cyberbullying is that if 50% are the victims, the rest 50% are the bullies themselves. Most likely, out of those 50%, also half of them are accidental bullies because they did not know where to draw the line. They didn't know where the entertainment was becoming bullying actually for some another person. Since here the interaction is via the screen, it's not in the physical space where you can see someone, you can read the body language, you can hear their tone, etc., which gives you a lot of indications that okay, now I need to stop. But when the interaction is via the screen, all of this is missing. So you go on and on to vent out till you are satisfied, which could have led to a severe concern of bullying. And there are these some faulty beliefs which also lead to a lot of us becoming bullies. Of course, when it is younger children, that a lot of kids, they believe that hacking is cool. They have this whole image of some nerd sitting with a hood in a server room, and is super smart and super intelligent, thanks to a lot of movies and all of this showing these kind of images. But yes, trust me, hacking is no longer cool, whether it is ethical or ethical. Hacking is just a glorified term for someone who is into testing space. And the lady who introduced me, she is a tester herself. You can ask her that, is that really a cool job? Does she sit with a hood in a server room to actually do the ethical hacking part? No, I'm sorry. So anything done without consent becomes a hacking, and it is a criminal offense. The second belief that we've seen very common in children and in a lot of adults is freedom of speech. So while internet is giving us a lot of freedom of speech, but it's not signifying the need of taking up responsibility. There was a very famous dialogue by Spider-Man's uncle that with freedom comes greater responsibility. So, if you are not going to acknowledge that responsibility which you are entitled to, along with you being given that freedom of speech to express and give your opinion, you are going to land in trouble and invite the consequences. Then also the bullies believe that, oh, I will never be caught. It's only a matter of time till someone complains about this, till someone stands up and fights through this. So anonymity is a biggest myth on internet. In fact, I don't know how many of you all have heard about the show on MTV that was MTV Troll Police. It was all about these celebrities getting trolled, and MTV came up with a show where they were like, let's bring those trolls face off. So my team, that is B for Web Cybersecurity, and myself, we were hired for this to catch or to reach out to all those trolls. And trust me, it did not take more than 1.5 day for my team to get name, place, address, birth date, everything about that troll. all we had was one Instagram handle. So, friends, anonymity is a myth till someone raises their voice. And today we are giving that opportunity that, yes, in fact, in the month of August and September, we actually caught six of them and got them arrested, six bullies and six trolls. So, this shake up if this is your belief that, oh, look, I can get away doing whatever I want, and the last belief is that it will never happen to me. No, friends, internet, on internet there are no favoritisms, everyone is equal. Like I mentioned, that despite of me being in the field, I cannot guarantee that okay, this is not going to happen to me. It could happen if I am more careless, or if I'm not going to be aware on over here. Like we saw the cases that I had posted, they're all from, the victims are all the families like yours and mine. This is the consequence for cyberbullying. It is a criminal offense and is punishable up to 3 years. Yes, so far we do not have a direct law or a direct act which covers cyberbullying, but a lot of it is covered into IT Act and in IPC also. Besides it being a criminal offense, there is also a huge impact in terms of your, if you are a school or college student, if they come to know that yes, there is, you have been charged for bullying, or you have been being perpetrator, the first thing is that your school suspension, or your college, you are going to be out of that place. You lose your career, you lose your friends, you lose your dignity, trust, and all this for what? Simple entertainment that you wanted to do, or you wanted to choose this platform to harass someone. That's, it's not really worth it. So these are the consequences that you really face over here. And like I mentioned, anonymity is simply a myth. These are the major two areas or two hubs where maximum cybercrime happens, and not only the cybercrime but also a lot of behavioral issues and addiction. First being social media, and second being online games. And of course, because also that this is the major, this is one area where we all spend maximum times on internet besides the work. All of us only and only put up the best moments of our lives, and life is not always just the best moments. It's always an up and down. There are goods and there are bads, but what we do is we only and only compare ourselves with other person's highlight reel, is what we call that, which is looking very perfect. So constantly there's a pressure to be going towards perfection, while perfection is always a myth. What's perfect to you may not be perfect to another person. It is a make believe world. It is very, very illusionary. It's very compulsive, and it's extremely fast. The way we work on social media, or overall, internet, the timelines are very different. The speed is very high, and which is what makes us very reactive. Instead of giving us time to respond, we end up reacting, because if you see a particular post, or if you see a particular tweet, if you do not react at that point of time, or you don't reply at that point of time, it's gone, because there'll be tons other coming, and which is what leads to a lot of other issues over here. When you don't get time to think through, to go through the content that you're consuming, your reactions are always going to be impulsive, and an impulsive reaction will invite trouble at some point or the other. So let's look at the behavioral issues, which, or what are the areas which are impacted the most because of social media or gaming. So this is what it does to us. We are constantly multitasking. Like you saw in the video also, whether you are at a dinner table with your friends, whether you are at a work, whether you're driving, whether you're working out, everywhere you're constantly multitasking. In fact, look at your own devices. Show me one device or one mobile which only has one tab open. There would be multiple tabs open. So multitasking leads to a lot of cognitive load. Cognition is our ability to rationalize, to think through things. And if we are multitasking, we are working out our cognition at a very very extreme space pace, which will induce load. So you will notice that 1 hour of field play, if you've gone to play a football game for an hour, you've played whiz 15 minutes of online gaming. The stress, the cognition used up, is going to be the same thing. It makes you very emotionally reactive, like I mentioned. Also, this space is very multimedia driven. So it's not just the text that you're reading, there are visuals, there is music. All of this makes it extremely emotionally reactive to us. A lot of senses triggered at the same time, and the speed, which does not allow us time to really think through it. Plus there is also a social obligation these days. So let's say if you know, if you all are following Anil sir and he posts something, whether you like it, whether you don't like it, whether you agree, whether you have read, you have not read, you are still going to like that particular post, which is to confirm that yes, well, he's a teacher and I'm following him. So there's also this obligation which makes people spend their social currency absolutely recklessly. Like they don't think that what are we endorsing or what are we promoting. It also, your willpower wears off because of the cognitive load. Like you decide, for example, you decide that yes, from tomorrow I'm starting diet, and there you will see pictures of yummy foods and the restaurant ads. And also, I mean, these are very real life examples which happen to all of us. We all decide that okay, fine, I'm just going to keep this away and I'm going to focus on my work, and then there are these notifications popping up. They are designed to be addictive. Let's understand that nothing in this world is free. Neither your life or your birth is free, nor your death is free. So forget that the internet being free. While you're not paying them in currency, what you are paying them is in terms of your data. So currency is you over here. So your information, the time that you spend on this, if you all have still not watched, you must watch that. It's on Netflix, I believe. Social. It's a very good series. Something social. Just remember, I'm not able to remember the last name of it. If anyone remembers, please put it on the chat. But that's something everyone must watch. It is where people who worked on building up social media to what it is today, they have come out and raised their concerns that how it has now moved on to an auto mechanism where it has gone beyond their reach, and what is the whole idea in terms of manipulating human behavior. So ensure that you watch that series to realize what is it doing to you. Now, while the name is social media, it ironically cuts you off socially. You don't need anybody else. We've seen today youth really, really shying away from talking to people in person, but they prefer being on their device and scrolling through for hours. Talking to random people on the screen is easier to them compared to talking to their own parents or some guest who come at home. So this is what it does to you. The reason, of course, is that you can be anyone online. Nobody is over there going to judge you, is what your belief is. And that's what makes it easier for you to talk over here, and because you're not taking up that responsibility. While when you talk in person to someone, you have that onus on yourself that yes, you have to have a good code of conduct. But here, thanks to anonymity, a lot of people want to believe that look, I can simply just write what I want to write, just say what I want to word, behave the way I want to behave, either later on put just kidding or simply delete my account and disappear. But trust me, nothing on internet ever goes away. Everything over there is permanent, which also leaves a digital footprint of each one of you of what you are doing and how it can cost you. I will share with you as we move forward. Yes, this whole space is designed to be addictive because that's how they get their revenue, and that's where it induces craving. See, we use all these clinical terms such as depression and anxiety and fear, stress and phobias and OCDs and addictions very loosely, but the clinical definitions are way different. And yes, cravings is a part or is a sign of you moving towards the addictive behavior, and you could cross the line and actually become clinically addictive. So it does that because what it does is it gives you instant gratification. I am bored right now, I immediately pick up my phone, I am on social media, and I am gratified, I get some information over there. If there's nothing else to do, I want to talk to someone. When you call up your physical friends, they may be busy, but over here there will always be someone to talk to. So because of these offerings that they give, it makes the place very very addictive, which also leads to this. And cravings is that one sign which makes it very cyclic. The pleasure value that it gives us is what makes us do it more, and that's how the positive reinforcement. So watch out for these things, that if you really crave for it, are you able to keep the device away and sit for how long? So there are a lot of apps available on time monitoring on the devices itself today. You must use them to understand how much time are you spending productively on internet, how much time is going in what apps, so that you can manage your time better in terms of safety, in terms of also the behavioral reasons. Then constant competition, constant pressure of being perfect can also lead to low self-worth. It's like the biryani that you cook is never going to look like a picture on Instagram, which can lead to that something's wrong with me, I am not good enough, which is a common complaint that we see. I have got young people who come to me saying I am feeling extremely low because whenever I post my pictures, I barely get any likes. My friend gets so many and I get so less. That's what it does. It puts in a subtle envy in us. So imagine a situation where you are in a pressure, you have to submit your assignment and your professors are really upset with you, you're missing the deadlines, this and that. And while you're getting that bashing from your professor, there comes a notification on your phone of your friend who is at some restaurant taking up selfies and putting up. What is it going to do to you? Obviously, the first thing is like, wow, he or she is so lucky, and look, I'm over here. So that serves in the seed of that little competition and envy. Also it makes us act it's actually going back into the mentality. It's like, if everyone is posting independence post, I also need to do that. If everyone is participating in a certain trend, the last one that I know was some couple black and white pictures trending, that you share those pictures and all. If I don't do that, I don't feel part of the entire society online. So this is what it is doing, but without we understanding that what are these free competition and trends build up for, what are they made up for? They're only and only made up to collect your data for the artificial intelligence. So be very mindful of where you're sharing and what you're sharing. These are some of the psychological or emotional impacts which are not visible. And because they're not visible, they are the most ignored. We do not want to understand that, okay, this is what's happening because of this. So the content that is very popular on internet today, either it is the roast videos or are these all violent games. They what are they doing is they're desensitizing us in terms of aggression levels, in terms of the way we went out. Look within and answer that, yes, I think at some point it is, because it's applicable to each one of us. If you're not mindful of what kind of content you've been watching, this is what it leads to. There is a need of instant gratification, that patience virtue is gone. I want now, everything is now, but the world does not move like this. Within the four walls with internet is what you then restrict yourselves to. It leads to a lot of aggression. Yes, we have seen that not only does the cybercrime impact, but also prolonged usage or prolonged time spent in internet or on gamings and in social media can lead to depression, clinical depression, I mean. Anxiety is an outcome. Eating and sleeping disorders are very common, very rampant, because you are, you know, the screen interaction, not only just the blue light that is emitted by the screen, which does not tell your brain that it's time to sleep. It's also the content that you've consumed last. Usually we recommend that there has to be at least 25 to 30 minutes gap between the last screen activity and the next activity for our blood levels to come down to normalcy. If you've engaged in an online game, it puts you into an extremely high state of mind, and from there, for you, immediately after the gaming, if you're going to sit to study or if you're going to go to sleep, the initial 25-30 minutes are a waste of time. So you got to be extremely you know smart, that how to manage my time and how much time without it having these issues. And because of the cognitive load and the multitasking, memory issues are bound to happen. Generally after age of 55 and 60 is where we start seeing the memory degenerating, but today it has started as early as 25 and 26. We've got clients who have, so I've got one of the clients who I'm working with very closely. It was because of the online gaming career that these have been outcomes: aggression, depression, and memory issues is what we are working with him. Now that I've told you that all the dangers and all the negatives of the cyberspace, social media, and online gaming, let's move on to that. See, all this is over here to stay, and I am not of opinion that you must not indulge into it at all. It's about being smart, it's about being mindful of what we are doing. So let's look at that. What are the keys to safety? So two major areas to manage: one is your digital footprint, and second is the hygiene part. Let's understand what's a digital footprint. Everything that you do on internet, the post that you write, the post that you comment on, the tweet that you make, what kind of pages you are following, etc., all this becomes part of your digital footprint. It's your unique identity. And where is it used? It becomes part of your online reputation. So tomorrow when you are applying to universities or to for your dream jobs, that's where they hire people like us to give an entire net profile, do a behavioral analysis of the candidate and present it to them. In fact, I have two students coming to me now about 9-10 months earlier, where their applications to the universities were rejected, the reason being inappropriate social conduct. Obviously nobody's coming to your home to check, it is from here. So when we interacted with one of the universities to understand what were they expecting, they gave a very amazing statement which we have been reinforcing time and again, that it's such a powerful space to be in, it's such a powerful tool, but if you're not going to use it at your advantage, do not even use it only for trivia. So they wrote back to me saying that, have you checked the profile of this candidate on social media? It's only and only those pictures, those trivial posts, and roasting posts, or the videos that he or she is liking. We do not see any kind of vision in the child, we do not see any kind of a goal or a dream in the child, and why should we give him this? So these are real life examples which are happening. In fact, I think now it's almost a year or something, it was in news that one of the Indian student had earned a fellowship program at Harvard, which was then revoked because of one particular tweet of his, and which cost him his entire admission. So make sure that, yes, your digital footprints are extremely important and significant. So, how do we mind our digital footprints? Yes, of course, the first thing is minding our language. Post only what is relevant even after a few years. See, right now, at this age and stage, we may be indulging in a lot of entertainment, but understand that what goes on internet stays on internet. So it should not come back to haunt you, that what you did in your earlier childhood days was putting up all those trivial images with the cat ears or cat eyes and rabbit ears and stuff like that, and that's all coming back, and that's all staying over there. In fact, I had a case where this young guy, he was changing his job. So at a previous place where they were giving him a send off party, they had made a nice wall with all his posts and all his images right from childhood, where the kid was a very tiny baby but dressed in a frock, and someone in the bathtub, and etc etc, the college drunk party images and all those things. And they made a nice fun wall over there, teas and all, during the party. Now the thing is, in today's genre, everything that we become a click generation, so we click everything and we post everything online. And that's where, before the guy entered his new office, he had a welcoming wall with a lot of memes of his from his old childhood pictures and from now his picture. It became so embarrassing for him to go back to work at that point, because there readily the teas was available for him. Now in this case, it was so difficult for him, because when his parents posted, they never thought about it, that oh my god, tomorrow it could become embarrassing for my child. So let's understand that yes, everything stays permanent. We need to be cautious of how much we are sharing publicly, and is it required. Now, in terms to manage your digital footprints, you also need to make sure that you have single strong presence and not multiple accounts, which could be leading or misleading in both the instances, And be smart in what you are liking, what you're endorsing, and what you are forwarding, because that's what also signifies in terms of what is your thought process, what are your ideas. The good hygiene practice is also setting alert in your name. So it is barely a 2-3 minute step. Just Google how to set Google alerts. It We initially used it for keeping in touch with topics that we like. So for example, because I am pursuing cyber psychology, I have set alerts in the name, so anything happening in the cyber psychology space, I get immediate information. That what's it. Same way, to manage our digital footprints, let us set up alerts in our own names, so that anywhere we are tagged or anywhere our name publicly appears on internet, we are aware, we're not caught unaware, as in. And we can ensure that yes, what is required stays there, what is not required, we can wipe it off to a certain extent or correct it. And ultimately what matters is having meaningful presence. In fact, during the lockdown, we've seen a lot of children make amazing use of this. They've raised funds for COVID impacted areas, where they could circulate and distribute food and water and stuff like that. So if you look at it, internet gives you thorough of opportunities. It's up to you what you make of it. Keep your digital footprints in mind every time you're tempted to post something, or every time you're tempted to comment on something or to tweet on something. The next area that you manage is your cyber hygiene. Now, there are some basic etiquettes that we need to follow over here. Of course, like I mentioned, the first is managing your footprints, managing social media hygiene. Set up your privacies to the utmost features that are available. And it's not a one time task, it is always updated. So, do revisit over there and ensure that you are managing. Keeping the softwares updated, that's very very important, because all the loopholes are always kind of taken care of in the next version that comes up. So make sure that you have timely updated the softwares. Antivirus is a must on all devices. Back up your data regularly, and every time you back up, filter it, go through it, that is this important, is this relevant. So while backing up, because there are space constraints, you will be able to do this activity very well. Please change your passwords frequently. That's one thing which people find it extremely difficult to do, and I'll try and show you a good interesting way of doing. Do not save any personal sensitive content in cyberspace. So yeah, if you have to, then use the vault services that are available online. Those are paid services where entire data is encrypted, and then you store over there. But otherwise, a lot of people I've seen that they will store all their pictures in Google Drive or Google Photos. You can, but then make sure that those photos, if ever that gets hacked or it gets public, there is nothing tarnishing over there. So decide and accordingly save. Two factor authentication should be a basic thing for every single account that you have. Try and use single device if possible. It's easier to monitor, it's easier to maintain hygiene. Avoid using public wi-fi's. There are tons of uh, reasons why not to, but the simple reasons that I will give you is all these public wi-fi's, because they are open wi-fi's, they are very easily hackable. Anyone can hack through and monitor all the activities that you're doing. So whenever you are checking in into any cafes, any public places, railway stations, hotels, if you have to use their wi-fi, keep it to a very minimal usage, and do not do shopping over there where you have to enter your credit cards, or no banking activities, no logging into accounts where you have to enter any type of passwords or anything. Firstly, avoid. Data plans are not very expensive these days, and otherwise just stay away. Enjoy the journey if it is during travel, or enjoy your dinner when you are in a restaurant. Don't engage into connecting it to public wi-fi. Do not click any unknown links. I think more than anything, this is much more relevant. There are no free lunches. So these days I see that a message trending that click over here. Apple is giving away the old Apple 10 because the new one is coming to few lucky users. Nobody is giving away anything to anyone except that they are going to take away your own data. So that's where antivirus also helps. By mistake, also, if you have clicked on anything, then if you have an antivirus, the malware that comes through those kind of links are stopped by the antivirus if it is updated. And antivirus, you are investing into a good device, make sure you have a good antivirus also. Logging out, that's something very rarely we do. So whenever you're using a shared device, it should be a hygiene practice that we must follow. Now this is one very simple trick that I'm going to tell you about managing your passwords, because they need to be changed very often. So it does not have to be long, it also has to be complex. No longer a password, but a paraphrase or a passphrase. Do not use any date of birth or your spouse name or anniversary or your girlfriend boyfriend's name. Those are the most common ones. If you have to save something, save it in a vault and not in a browser. No mobile numbers in the password. In fact, you can use mother tongue to make your password. So I'll give you an example. Suppose if this is your mobile, this is your password. While it is complex, it is long, but it's very simple because it has got my name, it has got my mobile number, and it has got my date of birth. So people who know me, they are going to be able to easily get that thing. Plus the combination is easy for the algorithms to break. But here in the same way, if you look at the examples that I have shared over here, so I'll share with you. If you look at the first one, it has got capital letter, it has got smaller special characters, at the rate, everything. Now how do I remember this password? It's actually a phrase in my mother tongue, that is kem cho. So I've written came, Kem. Instead of C, I have used a bracket, CH. Instead of O, I've made it 0. And 8H at the rate, whatever exclamation. The next one, if you see, that is twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. So that's the abbreviation for it, for you to understand that how you can create your own passwords to remember. And then at the rate BRD, which to me is Twitter, because Twitter has a bird icon, and that's how. So I'm giving you examples which you can create yours. The more you use your native languages, it's difficult for any algorithm to crack it. The next one, if you see, that is Pooja Shah. At the rate em is for email. At the rate sn or hashtag sn Snapchat. So these are the ways you can create your passwords, which are easy to remember, and you can change every now and then. You can have Similar password, like one phrase. See, the ideal time to change passwords is at least once in a month. If you cannot do once in a month, once in a quarter, once in 3 months. So, for example, if the current trending thing is COVID, make something related to that using all these special characters, but try and make it in your mother tongue. So that will become very, very easy for you to understand. And nobody else knows the logic, only you know it. Like in the second one, if you see, or the last one, if you see, until I tell you what it is, you will not be able to understand what it is. Some social media etiquettes which are going to keep you safe and going to get you good meaningful presence as well. So the thumb rule is always be polite. There is no alternative to being polite. Words can kill is literally true in this space, and words once you say, you cannot take it back. So being polite is the key. Avoid having multiple accounts and multiple profiles because it leads to misleading digital footprints. Good habits or good etiquette is no tagging anybody else without consent. So, like for example, you've recorded this video, and if you're going to make it online, since my face is visible in the video, since I'm talking in the video, the etiquette is someone who's going to upload this video should take consent from me that, look, ma'am, I'm uploading this. Would you want to be tagged? Or firstly, would you want, will you be okay for us to add this video online? So these are certain etiquettes that we follow. What we do not want to happen to us, we don't do it to others. Forward only the information that is fact checked, not because it's fun and everyone's following. Lynching is a big example of all these nonsensical forwards that have been happening. Keep your posts limited, and the lesser you speak or the lesser you share on internet, the safer you are. Do not mark any relationships. Sextortion thrives on this. So in sextortion, we've seen that, those perpetrators, they insist that add me to your social network, and in your social profiles, if you've added, this is my mother, this is my father, relationships are marked, this is my girlfriend, wife, etc., that's what can cost you then. Don't, I mean, Facebook does not really need to know who's your brother and who's your sister and who's your husband. You know it, that's more than enough. Don't post or comment on impulse, and this is what it will probe you to do. So bring that filter, practicing the pause is the mantra. Every time you have an urge of replying, step back, look at it, count till 5, 10, and then go and do. That has taken away the impulse, that has taken away that emotion that it has triggered, and just go ahead. Disable all the check ins. Seriously, people you want to inform where you are, please pick up a phone and inform that, look, I am here. If you are not doing that, then trust me, you're either doing it to, make someone envious, kisi ko jalana hai, or else you are just showing off, and this is not the place because you are inviting trouble. Mumbai had a big robbery happening, where when the robbers, it happened in Borivali, where a house was broken, and I think stuff worth 6 crores was gone, while those intruders were caught, but the money was never recovered. So one of them actually said, भाभी ने पोस्ट डाला था कि वो थिएटर में रहने वाली है 3 घंटा, तो हमको मालूम था कि वो थिएटर उनके घर से इतना दूर है, so we planned this robbery, and it was all in the papers. So friends, be sure where your bosses know where you are, your professors know where you are. Forget other things, but yes, that's what check-ins do. Keep your accounts private if you are not a public figure, and if you're not using it for business. And if you are using it for business, then refrain from sharing any personal information on that. Any information, ask yourself that if at all this becomes public tomorrow, is there a problem in it? Is it going to backfire on me? Is it going to impact my digital footprint or not? These are the questions you need to ask yourself. And the simplest way is to remind yourself, mind your own business. Do not get provoked by what's happening around you, because that's what they want. That, yes, that's what the bullies also want. That, to pin you. It's like igniting a fire and then waiting and watching how everybody runs and jumps. Now, lastly, if at all you or anyone has been victim to any kind of cybercrime, this is what you can do. Never ever delete anything before you have taken a good screen grab. That's the advantage in cyberspace, that we can have evidence. But what we've seen, that in panic, people delete everything. They delete even the accounts. Some cases we've seen they've even broken the devices, tod diya कि नहीं, I was scared. But that doesn't help. So always take a screenshot. Do not format or delete anything. Talk to an expert if the matter is very, very serious, or else talk to a trusted adult. Report it to the cybercrime cell. So we have a national cybercrime portal called cybercrime.gov.in. If the matter is really serious, please bring it to their notice. Report. This is only reporting, it's not filing a case. Filing a case is the next level, where if the matter is really serious and you have to pursue it, ensure that you've reported online, take that report, go to the nearest police station and file a complaint. And most important is, irrespective of all other things, get counseled. Since the wound is not visible, a lot of people feel I can manage, but it is so fast that without you realizing, it has already taken over, and it has started impacting your behavior, your overall mind in different ways. So this is how you can ensure that you can help someone and help yourself also. There, let's understand that with every, like every coin has two sides. So same way internet does have its flip side, which is all these nuisances that are happening. For every small instance, if you are going to put up a complaint, that's not going to work. So you have to identify that what is a serious crime and what is a complaint or what is an harassment. You have your own mechanisms. Every platform has a mechanism to complain to them. So the first step should be bring it to their notice. All these social media platforms, they work on algorithms. You report over there first that yes, this account is fake, or this account is bullying me, etc., etc. Then the second step is inform a senior around or an adult around. And the third step, if it's not stopping, if it's getting worse, reach out to organizations like ours, talk to experts, complain over here. And but don't just shove it under the covers. This is about my organization. If at all you have any kind of assistance required in counseling, in investigations, in reporting, or such kind of awareness trainings, you can reach out to us. Our portal is www.cyberbark.org. So with this, I end my presentation over here. Thank you so much for being a wonderful audience, and you're most welcome to ask any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Ma'am, if I may just request,
Yes,
if you could
sure.
just put your website address on the chat, I'll be obliged, ma'am.
Yeah, I will put that.
Yeah, I think this will be very, very useful for everybody. Uh,
Sure, I will.
I
I'll stop the screen share and I will type it over there.
please do, ma'am. I just requested Dr. Vinod Nair to propose a vote of thanks, because the instant feedback that I got from sir was, is this live on Facebook? Because I want my daughters to also view this session. So over to you, sir. Please propose a vote of thanks.
Yeah, thank you
Dr.
so
Vinod Nair.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nirali. I think this is a very, very relevant issue, because I myself am very active in Facebook, at least, not in other social medias. I know how people respond, how people crave for likes, recognition, shares, and ultimately get dragged into these big traps. Because like, even this is between me and my wife. She is also active. She says, if you are not liking me, I will not like you. Means that craving is there for everyone it is there. She's a gynecologist, I am an ENT surgeon. I'm very active. I do write on a lot of things, but then I'm saying people get trapped. So, and many of us think that we can control many things, but as she said, it's very dangerous thing, very dangerous thing.
It is too fast. It goes out of control very soon. This,
Yes, and they have no idea on how it gets slips,
correct.
especially the screen recording. I mean, I myself have helped few of my friends with this, because most of them have no idea about the screen recording, all these things, which is coming on and on. I mean, because since it is not there in my phone, I think it is the situation in with everyone else.
True.
It's absolutely wrong, because you have no idea what people can actually do with their, and even a message, if you click on a message, some of my friends who is into hacking and all, they say they can track, I mean, they can actually suck in, I mean, all the data from your phone.
Yes,
I mean,
they can run the malwares and spywares if you have been clicking on untrusted. That's why having an antivirus is extremely important.
so, I mean, it was a great sensitization about this concept. I'm 100% sure that I'm going to make both my daughters, one is 28, other is 24, make sure that they sit and watch this. Thank you so much. I mean, on behalf of all other people who's listening to this, I mean, this should be given wide publicity. That's why I specifically asked, is it there in Facebook? I'm sure it's going to help so many, especially ladies, I mean, girls. Thank you so much. I mean, I'm sure boys are not exception, no exception, as you are saying in the first slide. No exception. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, totally. So there are many more videos that I have put up in terms of safety on internet. So yes, anyone who is
How that can be seen? How that can be seen?
there
Any
on
specific
the
channel?
videos are there on YouTube where you can have a look at.
Searching your name come up, huh? Searching your name will be.
Yes, you will get them.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Back to you, sir.
So, dear colleague, I like to repeat. Thank you, sir. Thank you always, Vinod, sir. Coming from you, it means a lot for all of us. Uh, Dear colleagues, please note again www.cyberbap.org. I think one big learning from this, so I'll just take 2 minutes more. When I saw Niraliji's credentials, I read it twice. I realized, can you make a career like this? My God, I never even imagined. I said, my God, this is very, very impressive. And immediately I wrote back saying, very impressive, ma'am. And today's session has exceeded all expectations, ma'am. I really thank you from the bottom of my heart, because this is great social work also. You should do something to help others. And as Dr. Vinod Nair said, this is something many of us are not even aware that you are leaving a digital footprint everywhere, right? And kids getting bullied, right? And then they falling into traps, depression, anxiety. These were things which really I realized. I was wondering where my son is. Is he listening? Because he was not among the participant list. But okay, no, what, ma'am, he's there on Facebook Live. I just went and checked. He's there on Facebook Live. Right. One very important message, right, from all of us. Practice the pause. I think that's the biggest message from the session. Practice the pause.
There's one app called as Rethink. This app was developed by a very young girl. I think she was barely 14, 15 years old when she developed this app. It's a beautiful app. It's a keyboard app that each one of us should use. All it does is that the moment you type words which are impolite, like stupid, idiot, bullshit, any such words, it gives us a prompt that would you want to reconsider your word? This is not polite. So it automatically brings in that pause. So every time we are trying to type something, it will start coming up. I'm using that app and I've seen a huge difference in the way I have started composing my messages. Otherwise now the texting language has become like great as GR8, and by his only likhne ka bhi, people are not putting in an effort. So these kind of apps really help us managing our own language, managing our own etiquettes also. So any of y'all really want to make that change in yourself, use this app. It is called as Rethink. You can download that particular app, and you can use it across all the these apps, all other apps on your device. It's a keyboard app, so don't know. And I've also put the name of the series that I wanted you all to watch. That is Social Dilemma. That is something each one of you should watch, whoever is entering cyberspace today, to understand that what kind of manipulation can impact our behavior online. So ensure that you watch, make your kids also watch it.
Thank you, ma'am. And one last thing, you are also creative. I just realized a very good use of words, game show and password. That was excellent when you said.
Yes. So
Even cyber map is
Right.
very good.
We'll
Cyber
just
map.
yes, so this is how we, because I myself have issue. Now we have multiple accounts on internet, Facebook account, Instagram account, email account, and then you will have on certain websites where Amazon account. How many passwords to remember and how to make them this thing? So this is the logic that we use, that every time we want to change. Now let's say for example US elections are coming up, that's a trending topic. So if I want to change my password, I might create a phrase like this, which is in my native language, which has a special character, which has number, everything of it, which only I understand. So it becomes easier for me to remember my passwords when I change. Otherwise, we start saving them, which is not safe at all. If Bill Gates account and the passwords can get hacked, if the guy who's behind social media, Facebook, his accounts can get hacked, yours and mine are just not safe. So ensure that you use these kind of phrases to make sure you have an safer password. So
Thank you again, ma'am. Just please just see the chat. Dear Karamveer, who's from a business family, has thanked you. Shreya Bhatia has thanked you. So I think, and request others, last 2 minutes, if you could, because Dr. Vinod Nair, at very short notice, was kind enough to come and propose a vote of thanks. Request the participants, if you could just put in a vote of thanks for the speaker who has selflessly devoted time for this task. Thank you, Amit Bete. Thank you. Just one last minute, ma'am. I always insist that we should learn the habit of Thanksgiving. So just 2 minutes.
yes,
We
sure.
could just wait. Yeah, thank you again, Monica, ma'am, Amit Bete. Again, repeat the organization's name is cyberbab.org.
Cyberbab.org, yes, which stands for cyberbullying awareness, action, and prevention.
Niralji, one thing which has been there, at least in this part of Kerala, Kerala, when you approach the police, they just actually discourage you to file the case. Many times that has been the case. They say it's difficult. You really want to do that because they just want to avoid the trouble.
So,
So, I mean, how do you handle that case? Because it has been, I mean, if it is a very prominent thing, they do. Many times they discourage you.
yeah, I completely agree with you. So there are multiple reasons, and see, because we have been working in in this field, we will understand. In fact, the best support that we've ever got is, of course, Maharashtra, or rather Mumbai police, I'll say, and the second was Kerala. The horrible experience we've had is Karnataka police. So there are definitely challenges. Firstly, the number of cases vis-a-vis the number of police personnels we have, that is completely lopsided. Secondly, technical know-how. See, because currently the police training or the police personnel who have moved to cyber, they're very handful and it's a continuous process. So yes, technically there are challenges. Hence, the route that we have usually taken and which has been successful is, what we try and do is, people like our organization or the investigators. So if your case is very sensitive and you really want to pursue that, you should have a lawyer, cyber lawyer, and a cybercrime investigator with you, who will make it very easy for the police, because eventually certain things are only and only in police's hands. So for example, if we need some records from social media, none other individual has that kind of authority, only police can write. Now if we make this ready and presentable to them, that look sir, ye sab pura ready hai, evidence mere paas hai, this is there, that is there, then it becomes easier for them. So unfortunately, because of our population, because of the kind of issues that are happening online, this is a reality that yes, you cannot, for every small thing you walk into a police station, they are always going to tell you that you know ये सब तो होता रहता है, manage करो. That's where the online portal is helping. So cybercrime.gov.in, which is their portal, you report over there. Then if the matter still persists, then you can take the printout, go to the police station. That has also made their job easier. So in the cases which we actually very recently, the case that we cracked was of a young girl. She's I think 24 or 25. She was being sextorted by somebody. He kept on asking her only for this thing, that sleep with me once and I will stop her. He used to, make the nude pictures of her and share it online and was extorting. She was very brave. She said, I really want to fight it. It took 4 months. So it's time consuming, no doubts. But she did not give up. And we helped her in terms of gathering all possible evidences. In the end, with the IP address, with the city, with the number of the person, everything, finally we gave it to the police, and that's where Karnataka police then acted. Otherwise, they were not ready to take her. This thing was rejected 4 times, her case when she went. So yes, it is the reality of the matter, no doubts about it. When it comes to financial this thing, there also half the times, because the money is very very difficult to recover. The way it works, if you have watched the series called Jamtara, you will realize that how the money moves on very fastly. So that's where the police will tell you that "Ab paisa to वापस मिलने वाला है नहीं, so why do you want to waste your time?" That's how it is. So it is a fact that yes, but where it helps is that when you reach out to professionals, they can at least tell you that how you secure your other future act, because you cannot stop doing online banking, or you cannot stop shopping online, etc., or browsing online. How you ensure it does not happen again, or what kind of measures you take, and if this case has a lead where we can catch, then yes. So that is what is working for now, till we have far more clear policies, what onus lies with the service providers, with these entities and all. Until then, we have to only work towards that. That's why awareness, which can keep you safer, and you don't fall into the trouble only. But if at all you fall, don't shy away. If it is a smaller instance, if it has happened one time, 2 times, then we would also say that it's not worth, because the time investment is huge. It's There are some cases where we have got results in 2 days also. So depending case to case.
Thank you again, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank you so much
Thank
once
you.
again for inviting. I
Thank you.
hope that this information, which has now gone to, let's say, 50 participants, from there these 50 will take it forward to next 50 and more. And this is how we can ensure that we leave a better and a safer cyberspace for our children. I also have a 15-year-old, and that's where I took it upon me that, look, I want to make it very very safe place for him and very good place for him. So let's all work towards this. All the best, and thank you. I'll take your leave now.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Bye bye.